$98,000 to over $156,000 in revenue are lost every year because you are not optimizing these basic fundamental stuff in order to convert the lead into sales. Just imagine that you have 156,000 waiting for you. What can you use that for? You can use that to grow your business. You can use that to put back into lead generation or any type of marketing to even grow to $1 million per year. Okay, so we're going to run through this chart right now. So we're going to start with of course, the top bit and the marketing and lead gen. I would highly recommend you get a pen or paper to write this down in order to understand why are you not growing to where you want to be. Okay, and in the end of the day, this is all about the number one thing: control. Okay, imagine, for example, you're driving a car. If you can drive the car, you have control where to go. Of course, you can't control the rain, the traffic, and everything, but there is some level of control you can do. But if you have someone else controlling, you can't control them driving as well as you. You can't control them doing the wrong turn. So the more control you have, the quicker you are going to hit to where you want to be, that $1 million. So more leads equals growth. But that is like the totally wrong mindset. Because if you're getting more leads and you're not optimizing it to convert them as best as possible, you're just going to have a leaking pipeline, as stated, losing 98 to 150,000, over $150,000 in revenue a year. The delete, you can lose like 100, 20, 5, or 2 appointments or even sales for that. So there's tiny outputs even for paying customers. That's why every home service providers, they always look at the wrong thing: to hire a marketing agency for lead generation, to hire an assistant, to make sure they put more marketing, more content, more Google, SEO, Angie, and all that. But it's all the wrong part. If you're not optimizing the back end, you are wasting money and you will be disappointed. Though in reality, it becomes a broken system. And yes, more leads won't fix it. And if you want to rebuild to $1 million pipeline to generate that and scale your business, it's not about just speed to lead. Okay, what I'm going to go through is most majority of the people guarantee, and this is great because if you can resolve this problem on there, you are ahead of the game, because most of the competition in your game is going to be having an assistant to call the leads, or it's going to be yourself. And there's a problem there because there's three things. You can't train and motivate yourself, your mindset, or even your assistant. Okay, you can't. You just can't train. That's the whole point. That's why loads of business people say, I can train you to learn Facebook ad, lead generation, call space, foundation, how to run a business, but I can't train a person who's just not motivated or have the mindset. Okay, and also calling the leads within 5 minutes. You could say I have the best optimized salespeople do it. Let me tell you this: can you guarantee that they will call within 5 minutes? No, of course not. So if you can't guarantee they can't call within 5 minutes, isn't that a problem that you're losing more money? You want to maximize the level of getting as much money in your pocket so you can put it back into the business and grow it. And last but not least, have to train them weekly and review the calls. You can't control that, like even yourself. Okay, you are busy, your assistant is trying to call, they don't own the business, they work for you. So the problem is, if you're training them every week, they're going to forget. They go on holiday, for example, and they come back, they forget their sales. They forget how motivated they are. Even yourself, you say you do it. Trust me, if you do sales, say, I'm going to do it for a month. You do it 1 month later, you can't do it because you can't control what's around you, how busy you are. So the thing of the mindset, 92% give up after the fourth call. 92%, and you can't control that if they're just not willing to do it. And if you get calling within 5 minutes, yeah, most people calls after 5 minutes, over 30 minutes, it plummet by 80%. 80% that they won't answer, they won't convert into a listing appointment. And then you can check all stats. You can check ChatGPT, you can check Google, you can check Perplexity, every search engine, and it will show you the same. And then you how to train them. 42% is book average, which is great. That is on average, they're booking a lead to an appointment. It's not that bad, but you're 58% missing. You're 58% missing to convert them. So the problem is, okay, 30% new people that you hire to do all the calls as your assistant and everything, 30% new churn within 90 days. Oh gosh, I didn't put an eye there. So that means you could say, well, 70% is really high. But you have no control. What is the likelihood they'll be in the 30%? Are you willing to risk that? And if you do risk that, you have to train again. Remember that what you're training them costs money. They cost around about between $1,500 to $2,000 a month. You train them and they're gone within 90 days. Average person leave by 15 months. Average 15 months. So there's a big problem there. You do all that training thinking you're going to incentivize them. On average, they leave in 15 months. So you're taking a massive risk that, why do you think you always hear, I can guarantee, look at space of 20, 30 years you've been doing the business, 3, 4, I don't care. If you hired someone, I can guarantee you probably fired or people leave. Are you willing to risk that again? Even if you increase the amount of money, they're going to find somewhere that they feel more valued. So you have to deal with the calls and you are busy. So you do all the hiring process, hiring, firing, all that, trying to find someone. And in the end of the day, it goes back to you and you still can't do it. And you have to understand, it's not your fault. It's just physically not doable. Okay, you are the face of the company. You have to go out, do crawl space, foundation, everything, or plumbing, or waterworks, or mold, anything. You can't just call and do the work at the same time. You have the customers to make sure the jobs are done. So the whole problem is you have no control. Remember, the more you have control, the more you can get closer to $1 million or more on there. So what is the solution? The solution is that with an AI agent on that, and you'll be saying, well, I'm not sure. I don't want an AI agent calling my lead. Maybe it'll ruin my reputation. Maybe they'll say something wrong and everything. Hear me out, okay? Because I can guarantee an AI agent will do 10 times better than you and an assistant you hire. Because one, you don't need to motivate or change the mindset of an AI agent. They just do the job. So you don't need to do weekly try to motivate a mindset, and that takes a lot of work, hours and hours, just to make sure they are optimized. You don't need to do that. AI agents done. So you save a lot of work and time, and they call within 60 seconds, and they don't need sales training. You don't need to sales trained. No need to do weekly training. If for example the first month you notice actually you want to change something, just put all your data in, all your website, what you do, what you want them to say, not say, compliance and everything, they instantly know. So overall, think about this. Training someone on mindset, motivation, trying to make sure they call within 60 seconds, making sure they're trained, optimized. How many hours does that take you to train someone, even for yourself? A lot, right? Why would you go through all that work when you can just instantly lose all that? So what happens? Okay, well, always calling and never gives up. They optimize and calling 2 times a day, in the morning and in the afternoon, always, without fail. And then they're calling instantly can skyrocket. Look, calling within 60 seconds can skyrocket the conversion to 391% compared to 2 minutes delay. 391%. Imagine converting, okay, all that lead to the highest maximum level so you can close and take more sales on that. Just imagine that, okay? It's not rocket science, it's just maths. It's just ROI, it's calculations. That's all you need to know. And then the last but not least, 60 to 75% due to zero mislead. That's 60 75% conversion. Okay, you got 60 75% conversion. This 42% conversion on that. So you see that the conversion, imagine they can convert 100 leads to 75%, and you get a higher chance of converting more of those appointments into sales. So what happens? Your AI agent never leaves, so you will get better and better over time, because they never leave. They're an AI agent. You don't need to fire them. You don't need to hire them. You're on that side. And the AI agent can call all 15. This is the most craziest thing, okay? An AI agent can call 15 to 30 leads at once, at one time. Or, well, I don't know that if that's saying, but yeah, they call all of them all in one go. That's what I'm trying to say, simultaneously. So that means they can call all 15 leads. All the 15 are calling, ringing, and they're speaking to all 15 leads if they all picked up to convert them. Imagine that, because there's only so many hours in a day from 9 a.m. to 6 to 7 p.m. if they're calling around that time. Imagine your assistant or you trying to call one lead every time on there, when you speak to someone on average 20 to 30 minutes on that. 20 to 30 minutes for one person, you pick that up for that. And each person you're calling probably about 3 to 5 minutes if you're double, triple dialing and following up. So it just makes sense. And then overall, it's 10 times cheaper than hiring a human salesperson. On average, hiring a person is around $1,500 to $2,000 USD in the US. Okay? 10 times cheaper. You do the maths. If it's 10 times cheaper, why doesn't it make sense for you to get an AI agent to maximize in calling the leads and to maximize the conversion on there? So overall, you have control. That is the biggest thing you need to understand. So if we go from there, look, if we say 42% and then there's 75, if we hit 60%, let's do 75%, it's easier. But 75% to 42 on there is 25, 30, 33. Let's do 30%, that'll be easier. Okay, but if you think about it on there, if I do the math, if there's 100 leads, okay, and we're giving you 30% more from 100, okay, that 30% of 100 would be, it'll be 30, of course, and then 30% on average industry of home service companies, their sales is around about 30%. So if you can close 30% of that, so it's three on that, and they're worth 10k, you're getting 30k in the bank for that. That's extra. Remember, that is extra for that. So then you got if you do the 75% of 100, well, that's 75. So if 75 from leads to convert into listing appointment, and then you get 30%. So you do the 30% on that, for example, you do the maths. it just makes no sense why you wouldn't get an AI agent compared to an assistant on there. So if you're willing to get 30% more in revenue on top of this, which is mainly over 90 to 100k more, it makes sense. And then you can feed this back into, now you've got a predictable where you have control. I don't know why that says no control. This is control, okay? Because you have control on there, you can now put the money back into more leads and generation, because you know this is well oiled. And then the thing that you only need to focus would be you converting the leads when you meet them in person on that, which actually in my business, We train you what to say and how to maximize the conversion when you do meet them and how to make you the go-to person. Remember, you are not a home service provider. You might say, yes, oh, what are you saying? I am. No, you're not. You are a therapist, a specialist. You should ask questions to understand their pain point. If you give advice telling them you should do this, no one will listen to you. No one likes to be told. No one likes to be controlled. That's why sales is so important, how to convert them. And we teach you that in our service as well. So what happens? You get revenue growth, you get formula leads, speed, follow-up, and sales. And that is how you hit $1 million. Okay? So if you want to know more about how my service works or anything, I'm the founder of Clarity Media Lead. Just book a call and we'll run through. It's only 30 minutes of your time and we only take one contractor per area. But yeah, book a call or follow for more. Take care.